besties, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a book haul. It's been a while since I filmed one, and I've accumulated quite a few books. Not that many in the grand scheme of book hauls on BookTube, but I do have 13 books to share with you all. So I just thought, let's get into our capitalist era. I was subscribed to Fairy Loot for a while. I had this vision in my head that subscribing to Fairy Loot would allow me to get access to special editions that I actually wanted, but then every time I got a code from them, I was always too late into the queue, and so I didn't even get the book. So I have a bunch of books I haven't read in their special edition, which is very unlike me because each of these books I think was like $37 and I haven't read them, so you'll have to let me know in the comments if they're any good. The order in which I'm going to be showing you these books is from least sexy to most sexy, because a lot of these books are quite sexy. Okay, so starting with the least sexy, we have a tie, and that is Distorted by Nyla K and the Mindfuck series by St. Abbey. I can't really decide which one of these is uglier. It might be Mindfuck, but I don't really like shirtless dudes on books, so I don't know. I mean, obviously he's meant to be sexy, but I don't find him sexy, if you know what I mean. This is actually a book that I hauled because I'm going to be doing another one of my romance vlogs where I read subgenres. This is actually for forbidden romance because it's about a guy who falls in love with a prison guard. So a little bit of forbidden love there. I'm actually going to visit Riley Marie in November and staying with her for a week, and so we thought it would be really fun to film a collab where she reads a forbidden romance and I read one. All I know is that Nyla K is a very controversial author. She has one book that was banned off of Amazon. You can only get it off her website. I personally did not want to give her money, so I actually bought this used on Amazon. And then of course, like I mentioned, we have the Mindfuck series by St. Abbey. If I'm being honest with myself, this cover probably is worse than the last, but I just love this book so much that I'm willing to overlook the ugliness. This is definitely a good for her book about our main character Lana. Many years ago, she was vilely wronged by a group of men, and she has been hunting them down one by one and killing them off. And she falls in love with an FBI agent, and he happens to be the person who is actually assigned to her serial killer case. This book, I cannot tell you how much I loved it. It's just chef's kiss, so good. Next up, we have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I did give this book 5 stars, but I do not give the cover 5 stars. I actually really hate this cover. I've heard other people say that they like it, but I am not a fan. I also do not have the copy that has the sprayed edges. If for some reason you haven't heard about Fourth Wing, this is a book about our main character Violet, who is training to become a dragon rider at a war college. I will say that this book is a little controversial among booktubers. People either love it or hate it. I obviously love it, and I'm really excited to have a copy of it. It's going to be on my favorites of the year. Okay, now we're starting to get a little sexier. We're getting into the actual Fairy Loot books that I have received over the last, like, I think 6 months. I think there's like 6 of them here. The first one is the In the Lives of Puppets. I honestly didn't even know what this was called. That's how much I don't really know what these books are. I just kept receiving them from Fairy Loot, and I honestly should not have done that. I really, in my heart of hearts, thought that it was going to just be like a ticket to getting all the special editions I want, because I hate this whole mindset around special editions where everything is a waiting list and they don't make enough copies, and like some people can't get them, and then people end up selling them on Pango Books for like $150 or Mercari or whatever, and I just hate that culture. And so I was trying to get ahead of it, and it didn't work out for me because especially I wanted the Fourth Wing special edition, and I did not get that bitch, obviously. This is the new TJ Klune book. I have not read a TJ Klune book since, what was that one? Under the Whispering Door. I didn't really like that book. I think I put it on my worst of the year when I read it, but I did love The House in the Cerulean Sea, so hopefully I will like this as well. I don't know when I'll pick this up, but I have a really nice copy. Like, look at the sprayed edges. There's also art inside, which looks really, really cute. In a small home built into the branches of a tree live a human named Victor and 3 robots. Then Vic salvages an unfamiliar android labeled Hap. Along the way, Vic must decide if he can handle his feelings for Hap, even if they come with strings attached. We love a little robot android vibe. It feels like cozy sci-fi, a little bit of a Becky Chambers energy to it. I always really enjoy TJ Klune's found family aspects of his book, so I think this could be good. Let me know down below if you've already read it and if you liked it, because I haven't really heard anyone talk about this. Up next, we have another Fairy Loot, and I genuinely don't know what this book is. I will have to read the title for you. The Curse of Saints by Kate Dromas. I am ranking this a little bit above the TJ Klune one because I feel like this badass cover is doing it for me. I really like the girl. I like her vibe. I also like little designs around it. I don't know, I'm digging it. I will say the sprayed edges are a little bit boring on this one. They're just like ombre, which is fine. And then the art inside. Ooh, the art inside. Who are they and what are they doing and how do I get involved? I am a fan of that. Ooh, and there's different art back here. Love that, since I get annoyed when they do the same art on each side. As spy master to the queen, Aya's blood oath ensures she protects those she fights alongside, including Will, the queen's enforcer, and Aya's bitter rival. But when Aya's power acts beyond her god's given affinity, she risks being turned into a weapon in a war she doesn't know how to win. And when her relationship with Will unexpectedly shifts, neither knows the danger that will follow. Okay, sounds like very standard romantasy. I'm intrigued. You'll have to let me know if you read this down below. That's gonna be my catchphrase for the rest of the haul. All right, next, the sexiness is continuing to heat up. We have Shanghai Immortal by A.Y. Cho. I've literally never heard of this before, besides getting it in this box, but I am loving the vibes on the outside, and the sprayed edges are so cute. I also like the length, because if this is a fantasy, this is a great length. I love a short fantasy. Oh, and the art. Ooh, these sexy motherfuckers. Who are they? And the sword, it's glowing. Okay. I'm living, I'm loving, I'm laughing. Lady Jing is half vampire, half Huli Jing fox spirit. I know that I did indeed butcher that. As the king's ward, she has spent the past 90 years running errands, dodging the taunts of the spiteful Huli Jing courtiers. So when Jing overhears the courtiers plotting to steal a priceless dragon pearl from the king, she seizes her chance to expose them once and for all. With the help of a gentle mortal tasked with setting up the central bank of hell, Jing embarks on a wild chase for intel. But when her hijinks put the mortal in danger, she must decide what is more important. Honestly, I don't even know if that sounds like something I would like. I just know that these people are sexy. I don't know. I haven't read a vampire book in a long time, so it might be fun to read this. Okay, so this next book, I don't actually think the cover is that sexy, but the sprayed edges literally make me want to make out with someone, and that is The Foxglove King by Hannah Witten. Look at these sprayed edges. Look at the flowers. Like, I am literally coming right now as we speak. Also, the art inside, again, we are getting some sexy couples. I feel like Fairy Loot is primarily romantasy. That's the vibes I'm getting. When Laura was 13, she escaped a cult in the catacombs beneath the city of Delaire. And in the 10 years since, she's lived by one rule: don't let them find you. Easier said than done when her magic ties her to the city. Laura has made a living running poisons for the city's underbelly. But when a run goes wrong, she's captured by the king and expects to be sent to the pyre. Laura tangles in politics, religion, and forbidden romance as she attempts to navigate debauched and opulent society. I'm struggling. Even if I end up not liking this book, I'll probably still keep it, because imagine this on my bookshelf just with this pointing out. Like, that is just so fucking sexy. Like, I need that on my shelf. So the next book is not actually a Fairy Loot edition. It is just a book that I bought a while ago. I think I've actually already shown it on my channel, but the point of this haul is I'm just showing you everything I've bought in like the last, I don't know, like 4 to 6 months. And so this is one of the things that I've already bought, and I just love the cover. So it's nothing special. I just really like this book and I like the cover, and so that's why it's in this ranking. I think it's sexy. And that is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I really love the use of this very iconic art piece. I can't remember the name of this art, but I know that we've all seen it before. And I love the like ombre, rainbow, neon writing. I feel like it just really fits the vibe of this book if you've read it before. This book is about Sadie and Sam, who have been best friends since they were children, and when they're in college, they decide to create a video game together. And so this entire book is them trying to figure out how to be business partners. There's a lot of miscommunication and different things as they grow older. It like follows them through their whole life. It is so sad. The NPC chapter, I'm actually suing Gabrielle Zevin because of how much I sobbed when I read that chapter. And if you've read this, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is iconic. It is a love letter to content creation and art and all these things. Like, you do not have to be into video games to enjoy this. Okay, we have one last Fairy Loot edition. It is very sexy, probably the sexiest out of all of them. I love the cover and I love the essence of it. Just everything about it is so sexy. I don't know what else to say. Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. I love the sort of cyberpunk energy of the cover. I love the red and blue, and then oh, look at this, like on there, like there's literally a person on the sprayed edges. Like, that is so iconic, so beautiful. Also, look at her. Literally fuck me up, stomp on my throat. Like, she could literally drive that sword through my chest and I would say thank you. And then we have a sexy guy with a scythe on the back here. Like, okay. But this is her first adult fantasy, and so I'm excited to read it. I don't really know what it's about. I know that it does have cyberpunk energy. Every year, thousands flock to Saint-Air, the dangerously dense capital twin cities of the kingdom of Tallinn, where the palace hosts a set of deadly games. Those confident in their ability to jump between bodies can enter a fight to the death. Princess Kalatula Lemmy has been in hiding for 5 years, ever since she murdered her parents to free the people of Tallinn from her tyrannical family. Enter Anton Makusa, whose childhood love has lain in a coma since they were both ousted from the palace. He's deep in debt trying to keep her alive, which means his last chance of saving her is entering the games and winning. We stand a fantasy book that centers on some sort of games, because like Hunger Games vibes. I know that it's supposed to be loosely based on some sort of Shakespeare play, but I don't remember which one. I think Chloe Gong has an obsession with Shakespeare, because the other one, the Violent whatever Delights, whatever the fuck that series was called, was also based on like Romeo and Juliet. Although I said that was my last Fairy Loot book to show you, I do have some more special editions that I purchased for a lot of money. These were actually more expensive than the Fairy Loot boxes, and that is Brandon Sanderson's newest books, Tress of the Emerald Sea. This is just so beautiful. I had to have a copy. I haven't read it, but I just knew I needed it because it's cozy fantasy, and I've been wanting to read more Brandon Sanderson, and I could not resist this cover. From what I know, this is a gender bent version of The Princess Bride. It's sort of like if Buttercup was the one to go and save someone. I know that Tress is like traveling on a pirate ship and she's going to save someone. I don't know who the guy is. I don't really know. I absolutely love the end papers. Like, they're so cute. They're giving me like cozy fantasy vibes. And then I also love the art in there. It's like so beautiful. Like, all the chapter headings have green on them, and then there's also actual art in here. Like, look at this art. Like, that is stunning. Like, absolutely stunning. I've only read one Brandon Sanderson book and it was fine. I read Warbreaker and I gave it 3 stars, but cozy fantasy is definitely more up my alley, so I would love to read his writing in this format. Up next, we have the Encyclopedia of Emily, no, that's not what it's called. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This, of course, is about our main character, Emily Wilde. She is a professor specifically studying fairies, and so she is obviously writing an encyclopedia. So she's traveling to this small wintry town to study the fairies in a colder climate. When she gets there, she accidentally offends the townspeople, and they don't really want to cooperate with her. They don't really like her, and she doesn't really know what she's going to do. But then her academic rival, Wendell Bambleby, shows up. Wendell Bambleby is always a very hard name for me to say. I feel like it should be Brambleby. That's just my opinion. But anyway, he shows up and he's very charming, and he immediately starts charming everyone in the village. And so she's kind of irritated because she's sort of frenemies with him. He sometimes steals her research and they bicker a lot. And so they have to share the cabin that she's staying in, and hijinks ensue. There's a lot of different fairy stuff going on in here. And I just love this so much. I give it 5 stars. If you like cozy fantasy, I really think that you might like this. I love selling this as a combo of Half a Soul and Veronica Speedwell. So if you like those books, I really feel like you would enjoy this. We are now getting into the home stretch. We have 2 more books to go over. First of these being A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I am so beyond grateful to Riley for sending me this. I have wanted this original edition of A Dowry of Blood for so long, but you can no longer get this, and people sell it on Pango Books and Mercari for like over $100, and I could not abide spending that on such a short book. And one day Riley and I were talking and she was like, oh, I actually have an extra copy of that. I think Amazon accidentally sent her to, like, back in the day, and so she was like, I'll send it to you. And so she sent me this for free. Like, she used her own money to send it to me in the mail, and I'm just so grateful because she could have made so much money on this copy. This original cover is so fucking sexy. I don't even know why they switched it to the new cover. The new cover is just, I'm not feeling it. I'm not vibing with it. I don't like the new cover. It perfectly encapsulates what this book is about, and it has such amazing little tiny details. Like, I love the veil over her face, and then she's like holding a skull right here, and then there's these little skeletons like dancing down here, and then on the back you have like a girl dancing with a skeleton. It's just so beautiful. This is about Dracula and his wives. It's written from the perspective of Constanta, who is his first wife, and she's basically writing him a letter telling him why she had to kill him. And it just goes over the many hundreds of years that he was an abusive partner to her, and she just sort of explains all of her feelings and how, you know, she came to this point where she didn't want to be with him anymore and she had to leave him. And it's just so hauntingly written. I love this book so much. I think I read it in 2021, so I haven't really talked about it a ton on my channel because it was during my booktube break when I wasn't posting a lot. So this honestly might be one of the first times that I'm bringing this up on my channel, but I absolutely loved this. I need to reread it soon, and I'm just so grateful to have this copy. Thank you, Riley, so much, because this cover is just so sexy. There's no other way to describe it. It's so sexy. And finally, the book that holds the title of most sexy is this other new book by Brandon Sanderson. This is one of his newer projects. It's called Yumi and the Night Painter. This is a romance book. Apparently, Brandon Sanderson's wife was like, could you write me a romance book? And so he was like, yeah, I'll do my fantasy attempt at doing that. And so it's about these 2 characters that are from different worlds and they get connected somehow. And I don't really know what it's about beyond that, but the art and the end papers is so beautiful. Like, look at that. It's giving me like Sailor Moon vibes, like anime. Like, I'm so excited to read this. Imagine if they eventually adapted this and they made an anime. Ooh, and there's also like full color art. I love that. I think this one might be in a more futuristic setting. I honestly don't know a lot about this. All I knew was that I needed to have it because I saw it on Riley's channel and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna spend $55 on that, because I'm not gonna lie guys, these two together were $110. Like, these are $55 each, but they are really good quality, and I really appreciate that Brandon Sanderson was working with a smaller company to print these. And yeah, I don't know, I'm so excited to read it. I just love the cover. It's so beautiful. I'm gonna like use this as a pillow and have sweet dreams because it's just so beautiful. But that brings us to the end of this book haul. I do have one more announcement that I want to share that's unrelated to the book haul, so if you want to stick around for that. But anyway, my travel trip is official. I am going to be going to Croatia with any of you that are interested next September, and so I just wanted to share the deets, let you guys know what it's like, what it's about. Like I mentioned, we will be going to Croatia, specifically the Dalmatian coast, and I'm so excited because this itinerary is so up my alley. We'll be doing a national park tour and then also a waterfalls nature walk. I really appreciate the use of the word walk here because I'm not a hiking girl. We'll be taking a ferry to Korčula. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but we're gonna be doing an old town walk. Apparently Korčula is the birthplace of Marco Polo, and it was built by the Venetian Republic, so it has a lot of the same architecture. I love architecture. I am an architecture bitch. Like, if I could just walk around in other countries like looking at buildings, I would be so happy. And then we have an optional book club. I actually put this into the itinerary myself. If you sign up for the trip, we'll probably have a group chat leading up to it, and we can all pick a book together that we want to read, and then before we get to the trip we'll read it and then we'll talk about it while we're there. We're doing a peninsula tour and a wine tasting and an oyster tasting, which I absolutely love all of that, although I don't know if I've ever had oysters before. Have I had oysters? We can all become cultured together. I will put a link in the description down below if you're interested in taking a look at this itinerary on your own time. And I will also link the email waitlist because the trip is going live this coming Monday. So I'm sure you're wondering now, Sarah, how much is this gonna cost? Like, what does it include? What are we doing? The price of this trip is $2,699. And if you are one of those first 8 spots, you'll save $100 and it'll be $25.99. I do wanna say that the price of this trip is not a small number, and I totally get that. If you can't go, that's totally fine. I love your support just on my channel. This is just an opportunity for people who've been wanting to travel already or have been thinking about saving up for something like this. I feel like this would be a great opportunity to travel with a group of people and make a lot of friends and a lot of memories together, and I just feel like it'll be so iconic. Again, if you're interested and you want one of those first 8 early bird slots, I will put the link down below to sign up for the email list so that you can get that notification on Monday. I think the trip is going live at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, so you should be getting that email around that time. So if you heard this whole spiel and you are still interested and it seems like something that would be up your alley, I really recommend that you sign up for that email list that will be linked in the description, because you will get that email on Monday when it goes live and you'll know right away, and you can get that early bird spot if you want to save $100. And I feel like it'll just be a really amazing time. But anyway, if you've made it to the end of this video and you enjoyed the book haul, feel free to use the beach emoji in honor of this trip to Croatia that I'm doing. Thank you all so much for watching. You're all beautiful. Have a nice day.